Some days are harder than others. Today is one of those harder days. What that looks like for me is last night, as I was getting ready for bed, my nervous system became activated and went into fight or flight mode. That amplified for 5 hours, and there was nothing I could do to calm it down. And it culminated in my shaking uncontrollably and shivering for 1 hour till I finally fell asleep at 2 in the morning. The scary part of the experience for me particularly is that I have been living with an internal injury in my guts, we'll say, inside where the stomach, where the intestines are, and those kinds of things. And when something is mixed up in there with the nerves and with the tissues, the muscles, and all the different things, I don't know exactly, I'm not a doctor, but something is messed up in there so that when I experience normal or excessive amounts of stress, like we all do, you experience stress, you might feel, and your body might clench up and those kinds of things, which a normal, healthy body can kind of tolerate that to a certain extent. And you might shake, you might even shiver, you might have an anxiety attack or whatever. But something inside my guts has this squeezing effect on my actual intestine and something else in there. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's very scary. It kind of feels like it's squeezing the life out of me in those moments, and it gets really locked down, and my entire digestive system stops. Just the whole production stops, and it just gets clamped down. So I, because of that, really do everything in my power to avoid stress, excessive stress. And it's a very strange situation to be in, but it is the situation that I'm in. So anyway, last night I encountered this stressful whatever it was that caused me to have a really strong overactivation of the nervous system. And with that, at a certain point, it almost felt like it was going to veer into a panic attack, which I haven't had one of those in, gosh, 20 some odd years. But I could feel the heat and the lightning sort of on the back of my neck and head, and it was starting to feel like overwhelming. I was almost starting to get concerned for my health and well-being. And it was a really scary experience, but I wasn't scared, is how I described it, if that makes sense. Because I was just present throughout the experience and emotionally, to a certain extent, emotionally calm. But my body was very much not calm, and I was just trying to be with that as much as I could. So anyways, I did fortunately get 4.5 hours of sleep. And obviously cannot work today, but I can sit here and eat an apple and talk about it on YouTube, because I don't necessarily have anyone else to talk to about it. And but prior to that, I had a couple pretty good weeks, despite the fact that my leg injury was reactivated, which I had this injury that for like almost a year back in 2023, I had to relearn how to walk, and it was terrible. Very depressing. That was the one thing that in my whole health journey that got me so depressed, was not being able to walk. So important to me, I guess. And that kind of came back recently this last week, I think because of something I was doing with my exercise program, trying to heal myself in my leg. And but even through that, like, my mindset was good. My mood has been good. And I've just been grateful for all of it. But that, when the nervous system just takes over and goes into fight or flight, sympathetic mode, and you actually can't calm it down, whether it's severe anxiety or PTSD or whatever, that is a ride. You're just on the ride. That was like a 6-hour-long, very scary ride that I did not enjoy at all. But I made it through. And now I'm just kind of trying to process that in some way. And just trying to make it through the day and do all the things I need, because it's life has been very difficult anyways. I'm managing a chronic illness and chronic injury situation, and like just getting through each day and figuring out exactly how to, I'm not going to go into the details right now, but if you deal with those kinds of things, you know what I'm talking about. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I have a good amount of resiliency built up that, yeah, I might not be able to work today, and we'll see. Maybe I won't even be able to work tomorrow, which would be unfortunate, but if that's the case, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to make the best of it, and it's the weekend, and just try to rest, try to recover, and just keep going. Keep calm and carry on, as they say. So if I didn't have to eat so much food to keep this darn body alive, I mean, for a normal person, it wouldn't be a big deal. Like, I need 2,300 calories a day just to stay baseline to not lose weight. But just because of my chronic illness, injury situation, eating is a very, very, very challenging physically activity. So I can't just be like, blah, 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 yay. It's like a real, or like I spend my whole day oriented around trying to figure out how to eat, what foods to eat, how to do that so it's not going to exacerbate my pain. Because I finally have gotten some amount of like being able to work with my pain a little bit lately, which has been such a blessing of like, thank God I've been so dissociated for like 3 years in all this pain. And I'm only now starting to be able to like be with it, because I mean, my body could not actually handle, my mind couldn't actually handle the amount of it. And I had to push it down, compartmentalize in certain ways, or else I wouldn't have made it through this. So that's the power of dissociation, and how it can be such a life-saving, I don't know if you would call it a skill, but quality or something, activation that we have available to us. This mental skill. Anyway, so I'm just like rolling my foot on this massage ball on the floor and just trying to talk through this. I just feel it's weird because I don't usually sit here and talk about the details of this, and like I don't feel like it's not like this is an ongoing diary entry where there's people who are like aware of what's going on and following along with the details. I don't think so. Just to do one of these like off the cuff, I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense to upload this, but oh well, we'll just do it anyway. Well, if you want, I can talk about, this could just be a new subject. Last night I was realizing how, I guess this is something that different people probably have thought about it along the way, but how people who are alive now, especially if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, lived through the era of bands, like music groups and albums. It's like 1950s through 2010, maybe? And in the last 15 years, that's just no longer a thing. And I felt I think I came across this idea because I was watching a video of an old rock and roll band and just feeling such a profound like sense of gratitude for being alive in this time and being part of that movement where human beings got together, made music together, and performed that live on stage with the crowd, the whole experience. What an experience that is and was. Not to say that it's completely gone, but it's just that it's no longer the mainstream. It's no longer what is played on the radio or do people listen to radios? No, but on Spotify. Or people listen to radio. Some people do. Have I listened to a radio in the last 15 years? No. But bands, it's like, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I can make a whole video about why that is. But just appreciating like, wow, what an amazing period of time to have lived through when human beings got together, learned how to amplify through electricity, the sounds of like strings vibrating in this really incredible way and screaming their heads off on stage, making music together, all the drama, and just the beauty of it, of that. It's like a particular, I guess just because I grew up in that, it felt like part of life's fabric and not something that was a small movement in time. But as if you really pay attention from 2010 onward, and especially in the 2020s, you don't, yeah, there are, of course, there are bands, there are people playing music, but it's not this large cultural movement like it was. And it's not, it's so much about the solo artist now. So, and that trend is kind of like across a lot of different genres too, the movement from group to solo. So that's something. Hopefully I'll be able to take a nap today. I guess it's weird recording this as a video just because this is me in the moment just going through my thought process, which, yeah, if I had someone to talk to bounce, like if I had a cat or a dog or something to just talk to, isn't that what people do? Because it's not like you're going to talk to your family or your friends or your kids all day, blah, 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 about whatever. But if you have a pet, they have to listen to you. And they're probably just like, oh my God. Hopefully they have the ability to tune that out. But point being is just like, I feel weird just taking up the airtime on YouTube here, just kind of pointlessly talking about it. It's like not even very impactful, you know? So, and eating. I know I've made rambling videos before that were well received, but they kind of had like more of a point to them. Whereas here I'm just kind of very spaced out and just trying to get through the day. Oh, you know what? This would make more sense, which I don't want to do. That's what it is. This would make more sense as a live stream. So if I was live streaming and just, oh, but then I have to interact with people. No thanks, just kidding. You guys are fine. But it's a different environment in live stream chat, very different environment. Not, I don't have the, no, that takes, yeah, you gotta be, yeah. Anyway, I'll probably go take another shower to try and calm down my system. Maybe try and take a nap as well. I have to eat.